There are places on our planet where reality surpasses fiction. Surely you would never have imagined that there could be islands where people see everything in black and white, regions where women are completely forbidden to enter, or villages where the inhabitants go to the supermarket or swim in the municipal swimming pool without any kind of clothing. Don't miss this new Uncensored World video. To find out more about the 10 strangest, most mysterious and extraordinary places on the planet. Towns governed by scarecrows, cities where the population has decided to live under the slopes of an active volcano, others made of rubbish and inhabited by garbage men, or towns where the population always lives underground. Pay attention to this video because we assure you that everything in it will surprise you. Let's start. Pingelap Micronesia, the island where they see in black and white. Pingelap is a remote island that belongs to the state of Ponap Sea in Micronesia, an island where for a large part of its population, colors do not exist, a place where more than 10% of its population sees in black and white. It may seem like science fiction, but the world is really amazing, and that's why we love to create and bring you videos as interesting as this one. So if you are not subscribed to Uncensored World, do it now. This island is famous in the scientific world, as it is the place where most people suffer from an extreme form of color blindness called achromatopsia, a rare genetic disease that prevents them from distinguishing colors. That is why many know this island as the Island of the Color Blind. If one day you are lucky enough to visit Pingelap or any of the other islands of Micronesia, you will surely be surprised by its beauty and nature, its beautiful landscapes and turquoise waters, or its extraordinary marine world. A reality that makes this problem even sadder for the inhabitants of Pingelap, since despite living in a natural wonder full of colors, more than 10% of the 250 inhabitants of this island see life in black and white. In the world, it is estimated that this disease is suffered by 0.0003% of the population, or in other words, 3 people out of every 100,000, while in Pingelap, the statistics estimate that between 10 and 30% of the population are carriers. That is to say, between 10 and 30 people out of every 100 people on this island suffer from this disease. And as almost always in this life, mysteries are there to be solved, and there is usually a reason for these surprising facts. According to the research we have done, we have to go back to the year 1775 to find out the cause. In that year, a typhoon named Liankiki devastated this island, and only 20 people survived, including the leader of the tribe called Nagoro Japan, who was believed to suffer from the rare disease achromatopsia. In order to resuscitate the island, the leader decided to have a large number of descendants, to the extent that it is believed that all those affected today have Nagoro Japanized as a relative. Nobody noticed any change until the 4th generation, when achromatopsia appeared in part of the population, a problem that would increase in the 6th generation and so on until today. In this way, and thanks to this original inbreeding by the former leader of Pingelap, the island is one of the most attractive in the world for genetic experts. But it seems that seeing in black and white also has its advantages for the people of this island, especially when the sun goes down. According to many of them, in the dark, this rare disease gives them better vision, helping them to fish much better than during the day. If you want to know more about the details of this island and other curiosities of Micronesia, such as the use of ants for female stimulation in intimate relations, don't miss the video we created weeks ago in the channel, and follow this. Mount Athos, Greece, the region forbidden to women and female animals. If there is a place in the world where it is forbidden to enter if you are a woman, this is the place. Although it may surprise anyone, Mount Athos, known as the monastic Republic of Mount Athos, is a peninsula and autonomous region of Greece where it is forbidden to enter not only to women, but also to any animal of the female gender. As strange and crazy as it may seem, different signs indicate this warning both on the border of this peninsula as well as in different places of this mysterious region. To better understand this reality, we must begin by knowing the history of this place. Situated on the Athos Peninsula, Mount Athos is home to 20 monasteries. Considered one of the most important centers of the Orthodox religion, it has been a refuge for monks and a place of pilgrimage for over 1,000 years. It is from this cult that the strict prohibition on the entry of women, known as avaton, derives. This rule has been in place for over 1,000 years and is based on Orthodox religious tradition and the monastic laws of the place. The main reason for not wanting women or female animals in the region is the preservation of the monastic and spiritual environment. According to the monks, the presence of women could distract the monks from their life of prayer, meditation, and monastic work. Moreover, Mount Athos is considered a garden of the Virgin Mary, and according to tradition, she is the only woman who resides there in spirit. Allowing other women to enter is considered an act of dishonor towards this devotion. The prohibition is so deeply rooted in the traditions and laws governing Mount Athos that it has been recognized and protected by Greek law and international treaties. Access to Mount Athos is strictly regulated and controlled. Men who wish to visit it, only they can, must obtain a special permit known as a diamonitirion. This permit is limited in number and length of stay. Women cannot obtain this permit because the entry of women is strictly prohibited and is associated with serious penalties and risks. If a woman attempts to enter this region, she faces legal, and in some cases even physical consequences. And although it may sound crazy, in addition to women, as we mentioned, female animals are also prohibited from entering Mount Athos. This restriction is based on the belief that both women and female animals could disturb the sacred and monastic environment. This practice reflects an aspect of Orthodox theology that emphasizes purity and spiritual concentration within monastic spaces, thus preserving an atmosphere of devotion and contemplation that has characterized Mount Athos for centuries. Although I am sure that for many these restrictions are seen more as a nonsensical madness that is probably also due to obscure beliefs in the minds of some of these monks. What do you think about this reality? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Longarby Norway, the town where it is forbidden to die. Longarby is the largest town and administrative center of the Svalbard archipelago in the Norwegian Arctic. It is known as one of the northernmost settlements in the world. Extreme weather conditions and total darkness during the winter months, coupled with constant light in summer, make Longarby a fascinating and challenging place to live. The biggest peculiarity of Longarby is that it is forbidden to die here. You're probably wondering what the crazy reason might be, but as you'll see, it all makes a lot more sense than it might seem. It's all down to permafrost. Permafrost is a layer or stratum of the ground that remains permanently frozen for at least 2 consecutive years. This freezing occurs mainly in cold regions of the world where soil temperatures remain below the freezing point of water. 0 degrees Celsius for most of the year, even in summer. In this region, the ground remains frozen throughout the year, and because of these constant low temperatures, bodies do not decompose as they would in warmer climates. This poses a potential public health risk if these dead bodies are not properly treated. Therefore, seriously ill or near-dead people have to be evacuated from this village in the Norwegian Svalbard Islands and taken to the mainland for proper medical care. In addition to this peculiarity, Longarby is also known for housing the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, the most important seed bank on the planet and of mankind. This underground refuge protects a priceless genetic diversity of crops from around the world, ensuring the preservation of these species in the face of possible natural catastrophes or conflicts, including a potential apocalypse. Makakajima Japan, the island that lives on an active volcano. Makakajima is a volcanic island in Japan, known worldwide for being probably the only island where residents have not chosen to leave, despite the constant threat of an active volcano that regularly emits toxic gases. Instead of running away from this harsh reality, the people of Makakajima have integrated gas masks into their daily lives as an indispensable measure to protect themselves from the harmful effects of these gases. In the year 2000, a devastating volcanic eruption forced the total evacuation of Makakajima. Residents were displaced for several years until they were finally able to return in the year 2015. Since then, they have meticulously prepared for future eruptions and have integrated gas masks as a crucial part of their preparedness for possible increases in volcanic gas emissions. This measure not only ensures their safety, but also symbolizes the determination of Makakajima's inhabitants to remain at home despite the extreme conditions. Life on this island is a living testimony to human adaptability and resilience in the face of geological hazards. Makakajima not only faces constant challenges stemming from its active volcanic environment, but also demonstrates innovative solutions that enable its residents to maintain a functional and cohesive community in the midst of such adverse circumstances. Manat Nasir, Egypt. A city made of rubbish and rubbish collectors. If there is one place Egyptians are not particularly proud of, it would surely be the city of Manat Nasir. The strange thing is, though, that there are some impressive things for its inhabitants to be proud of. Located on the outskirts of Cairo in Egypt, Manat Nasir is commonly known as Garbage City, and for reasons one can imagine, it has that name. In this city, piles of rubbish are literally on almost every street, on every nook and corner you look at. And at a quick glance, it seems that even the buildings are made of rubbish and plastics, piled up without any order or sense. But the reason is simple, and that is that most of the rubbish in Cairo, the capital of Egypt with more than 20 million inhabitants, is moved there. Manat Nasir is home to some 250,000 people, and its population is mainly made up of zabalins, or rubbish collectors, whose main occupation is the collection of rubbish. The occupation is to collect the city's rubbish and take it to their residences to be sorted and then recycled or sold in second-hand markets. What is impressive about this is that statistics indicate that almost 90% of all Cairo's rubbish is recycled in its entirety and then sold by this small community. By comparison, the recycling rate in the United States is less than 35%, so perhaps many countries should take note of the reality of Manat Nasir. Although the city looks bleak, its inhabitants are quite content with their lives and don't seem to want to change anything, as they not only live in the rubbish, but also live off it, and by recycling, they make the environment more sustainable. Villa Las Estrellas, Antarctica, Antarctica's only inhabited village. Villa Las Estrellas is a small Chilean community that could be considered the only permanent settlement in Antarctica. It was founded in the year 1984 and is located on King George Island. The base has a school, a small hospital, a post office, and other facilities necessary for daily life. Life at Villa Las Estrellas is marked by the harsh Antarctic conditions, with extremely low temperatures, high winds, and isolation. The base serves both scientific purposes and Chile's sovereign presence on the frozen continent. Families living there often stay for periods of 1 or 2 years, adapting to a completely inhospitable environment. According to some inhabitants of Villa Las Estrellas, living conditions are so extreme that many have to share a bed or even a bathroom and take showers of less than 90 seconds. Comfort and privacy are left to one side in this small community of researchers and family members who populate this remote village in the inhospitable Antarctic. Nagoro, Japan, the scarecrow village. Scarecrows are structures placed on farms to deter birds and other animals from landing on crops. Common in many villages around the world, but never as common as in this small Japanese village. The village of Nagoro, located in Japan's Tokushima prefecture. Nagoro is known as the village of scarecrows for a good reason. Believe it or not, these people decided to successfully replace almost everyone in the village with a scarecrow instead. That's why literally everywhere you look in the city, there is a scarecrow that seems to be watching you with its eyes. Scarecrows are literally everywhere, and according to sources, there are over 300 of them. Considering that the city is quite small and remote, you can imagine how strange this can be. You're probably wondering, how did it all start? What was the reason? According to our research, it all started with a woman named Ano. Ano was born in Nagoro, a city full of life and young people decades ago. In her youth, she moved to Osaka, one of the most cosmopolitan and largest cities in Japan, to study and work. Years later, after the death of her mother in the year 2002, she returned to the village to take care of her father, but by then the population of Nagoro was a shell of itself. The young people had left for the big city, and mortality had far outstripped births in this quiet village. So he began to grow his own vegetables, realizing that the crows were destroying and eating everything that grew on the land. So he decided to make a scarecrow and put it in his garden. To his surprise, he saw that many of his neighbors walked past the yard and greeted the scarecrow thinking that it was actually his father. It was then that she had an idea that would revolutionize this village completely. As more people died or left the village, she would replace them with scarecrows that looked like them. And so it went from 1 or 2 scarecrows to hundreds populating the village. Today, the population of Nagoro is estimated to be less than 50 people, but the scarecrows are still alive and have not left the village. In the village school, which closed in 2012, there is even a classroom full of them, and they can be seen adorning different parts of the town. 3 scarecrows at the base of a telephone pole, 1 fishing in the river, and even a group sitting on a bus shelter. Nagoro has thus become the closest thing to a ghost town, and most disturbingly, it is one of the biggest tourist attractions in this part of Japan. Dagged France, naked even at the supermarket. Dagged is a French town known for being one of the largest and most famous naturist centers in the world. In this seaside town, life without clothes is a common and accepted practice throughout the town, including in places such as supermarkets, restaurants, municipal swimming pools and beaches. The naturist area of Dagged is a gated community that allows its residents and visitors to live without clothes in a safe and respectful environment. In this way, visitors can carry out everyday activities, such as shopping, swimming in the municipal swimming pool, and enjoying the nightlife, all without the need for any clothing. In fact, it is so widespread to live in this way that anyone who walks through this village dressed is frowned upon. For many, this village is the closest thing to the Sodom and Gomorrah of the Bible today. The big attraction of this village is that everything is allowed, not only naturism. That's why Dagged has dozens of clubs for couples to interact. There are hotels dedicated to liberal couples, and people go bareback everywhere at any time of the day. These rules and customs encourage a liberal atmosphere, but according to some of its inhabitants, also mutual respect and freedom, which makes Dagged a unique destination for naturism enthusiasts. Whittier, Alaska, an entire village enclosed in a huge building. Whittier, an Alaskan village, has made this list because it has become an enigma between the mountains and the icy waters of the North Pacific. The small town encloses most of its inhabitants in a single concrete colossus, a monstrous building called Dagged Towers. The building was constructed in the 1950s as a military stronghold. 14 stories high, it not only provides a home for all the residents of the town, but also houses a complex network of essential services, ranging from flats to shops, a post office, a church, and even a small hospital. Dagged Towers has thus become a small urban universe where life and community intertwine in a reality that is unique in the world. The choice that more than 90% of the town of Whittier chose to live under one roof was driven by the fury of Alaska's extreme climate. In this place where winter reigns supreme with blizzards and freezing temperatures, often below -50 degrees Celsius, mobility and minimal comforts, such as access to heating and hot water, were becoming an impossibility, putting the survival of the population at risk. It was for this reason that the entire village decided to move to Dagged Towers, with the intention of facing the adversities of the Arctic environment while maintaining a vital connection and a sense of community, marking Whittier as the perfect place to survive and coexist in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Kuba Ped Australia, the town that lives underground. Kuba Ped is a town located in the south of Australia that literally lives up to its name. The word Kuba Ped is an Aboriginal word that literally translates as white man living in a hole, and that's pretty much what happens here. According to sources, Kuba Ped is home to just over 2,000 people, and apparently the vast majority of these people live underground. Because it started out as a mining settlement, much of its territory was made up of holes and shafts. So when development came to this village, instead of building from the ground up, they decided to convert many of those mining shafts into settlements and structures. So in this village, almost all the buildings are underground, from houses to restaurants to even the church of this remote place. Anyone might think that's odd, but there's one thing that makes sense, and that's that because the houses are underground, temperatures in Kuba Ped stay a balmy 22 degrees all year round. The city's developers have also installed air vents that allow air to flow in and out, so that people don't get too cramped in their own homes. Considering this lifestyle and everything you've seen so far, can you imagine living in a place like this? Which of these destinations impressed you the most, and which one would you like to spend some time in, and why? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Now that you are part of Uncensored World, you know that this is the best way to support us so that we can continue working to bring you videos as interesting as this one every week. So thank you. From Uncensored World, we hope that this tour of some of the strangest and most mysterious places on the planet has been as exciting for you as it has been for us. Thinking about it, and the effort it takes us to make these videos, we would love you to leave us a nice like. And your comment, you know it's the best way you have to help us. If you have enjoyed this video and you're not yet subscribed, don't wait any longer and do it now by activating the little bell so you don't miss the fascinating videos we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now to get to know another of the most fascinating corners of the planet. Don't miss it and discover the wonders that this place has to offer.